Well, good morning and welcome. I'm Mark Baldwin. I'm with the Butterfly PAC and the Compassion PAC. We're working to put together an effort to speak to those in power about poverty and hunger and those issues that are important. Today, I'm meeting with Pankaj. Pankaj, welcome. It's great to have you on this brief discussion today. Pankaj is one of the founding members of the Butterfly PAC, and we just thought we'd ask him a few questions today and get to know him a little bit better, but also get to know the founding of the Butterfly PAC and sort of the inspiration behind it and those sorts of things. So thank you for taking some time today.
Thanks for inviting me, Mark.
Yeah, glad to have you here. I'm talking to you from Chicago. Pankaj is in the Bay Area out in California. And so that gives you an idea of where we are today. And Pankaj, I guess to begin with, maybe share with us a little bit about what you see as sort of success. If you were to look ahead out into the future of the Butterfly PAC, the Compassion PAC, now that we're talking about combining, what do you see as the success of that, or what does that look like down the road?
Yeah, I think ultimate success really is to fulfill on the World Bank's vision of ending extreme poverty by the year 2030. And that means getting everybody everywhere on at least $1.90 a day, which buys them, as you know, Marv, it'll buy them at least one meal, if not two or three, and may or may not buy them some shelter and some clothing, but certainly it'll get them fed. And there's 1 billion people, 12.5% of the Earth's population living on less than that. So I think the ultimate goal for us is to get them over that extreme poverty line. Now, of course, there's some, because of COVID, a lot of vaccination has been starved out and a lot of healthcare services have suffered. So there's some thought that that deadline might get extended. So it might be, whatever it's going to be. But we have to just keep working on that. So then for the Butterfly PAC, really, my hope is that we will be able to enroll a number of Congress people. And, my hope is that we can even go beyond Democrats, because Democrats, already 90% of all the votes and co-sponsorships for bills working to end poverty in the US and globally come from Democrats. And that's just a fact. And it's not for lack of trying with the Republicans, because other organizations have been lobbying the Republicans as well. And it's not been working well because of, the deeply divided Congress. And it's been like this for the last 12, 15 years that I've been working on the issue. So it's not as if it's anything new. So my vision is that we'll be able to enroll both Democrats and Republicans. We'll be able to get a lot of Christians on board and people of faith, because people of faith are doing so much, and we're doing so much work as missionaries overseas. So why are we not voting on these issues locally and domestically? So I think that we just need to get the message across and get people enrolled in this vision. And I think then the congressman will follow, because the public is there already.
Thank you. Thank you. What a great vision. What a great vision. So as you sort of think about your role currently, but also going forward, and we're talking about, sort of combining some efforts here and trying to maybe reach out in a broader sense. But tell us a little bit about sort of your role as it is now in the Butterfly PAC, and sort of what you see in the future for your role and what you hope to be able to do and bring to the table.
Having worked as a management consultant and having worked in a number of companies, my roles have always been operational. So I'm the guy that opens the shop in the morning and shuts the shutters at night. I think so. Therefore, I'm happy to take on any role that is needed. So I'm happy to take on any role that's needed. I'm really not looking for power. I'm just looking to get this done.
Get it done. Get it done. Good. Any particular roles that you've had or that you do now or have done in the past that you particularly enjoy or excel at that you think, boy, that's, if I could spend most of my time doing these things, that would be fantastic?
Mm, I'm actually quite a lazy person, so I'm happy to have everybody else do all the work and, just have it done.
I love it. I love
So
it.
I'm happy for that. But, one thing I've been doing a lot of is actually enrolling Congress people in the vision of the Butterfly PAC. So I think initially I'm going to have to help us set that up and train us on the processes for doing that. And then I'm happy for anybody to take it over.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I guess the final question is there are a lot of things that you could be doing with your time, and you've decided to spend and invest some of your time in the Butterfly PAC and working on behalf of poor and hungry people. And I guess I'd love to hear a little bit about your motivation. What gets you going to do this? Why spend your time on this versus something else?
Yeah, it's another long story, but I grew up in India and in New Delhi, and at that time that I grew up, there were 48 million people dying of hunger and hunger-related diseases. So there were 5 billion people on Earth, and 50 million of them were dying annually. So I think that's 1% of the Earth's population was dying annually of hunger and hunger-related diseases. And I was, maybe 3 or 4 years old. The winters in Delhi are like the winters in San Francisco where I live now. And I was just coming home from the shop with my mother. We bought a sweater. In those days, you still had to walk to a shop to get a sweater. It didn't show up at your house. And so we were just walking back, and I saw a really small child, about, maybe 3 or 4 years like myself. And the child was shivering. It was maybe 45 degrees outside, and the child had just a tattered undershirt on and underwear, and so his legs and arms were uncovered and his head was uncovered. And so I asked my mother, I said, can I give him my sweater? And I just bought this new one, I'll wear that. And so she said, fine. And so we exchanged sweaters, and then the moment I gave him the sweater, 3 other kids came out of nowhere, dressed exactly the same, needing those sweaters. So, I went home, and my mother could see that I was a little bit down, and next day at lunch, it was the same. And so, she said, look, I didn't want to get you down about this, but, it's just that there's so many people that are hungry and starving, and, that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's going to be. There's really not much you can do. I mean, just as you couldn't give 4 sweaters today, I mean, how are you going to feed the 50 million people that are starving? And, part of me died that day where, I said, there's nothing really that can be done. And, I would just avert my eyes like everyone else when we saw poor and hungry people. I was fortunate to be, blessed to be born in a wealthy family or a middle-class family. So things were good. And, but I was personally unhappy. And then then a friend of mine, when I was about 13 or 14, informed me about the Hunger Project. And the Hunger Project publicized the United Nations study in the 70s that there were 50 million people, 48 million to be exact, dying of hunger and hunger-related diseases. 38 million of them were children. And there was enough food in the world to feed everyone. So what was missing, according to the Hunger Project, was the political will to get the job done. And the Hunger Project put down a goal of the year 2000 to end hunger and poverty. So, I got really lit up by this goal, and I said, boy, if we can, and there's enough food, which is the number one factor. So I went and spoke in a number of schools and colleges even about ending hunger and poverty. And then I came to the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. I started a chapter there. And after I graduated, I think, I came back to India and did some more work on ending hunger and poverty. And then I came back to the US for good in 1991. And at that point, life happened, and we ended up missing the 2000 deadline, as we all know. And once again, part of me shrunk, and I knew I'd let the world down. And And then a friend of mine invited me to an open house in Los Gatos and locally for results. And at results, I found out that the World Bank, with all its economists and powerful people from around the world, had determined that by the year 2030, we could end extreme poverty and get everybody above the $1.90 line. And that's the day that I, repledged and took a real solemn pledge that whatever it takes, I'm going to get this job done, and I'm not going to step back. So that's the inspiration. Long story, but I've been plugging away in various ways to do this, and now I've also taken early retirement, where I'm working as a stock trader instead of as a management consultant, so I can spend 25% of my time. And every morning, I wake up, and in my prayers, I investigate, what did I do yesterday to end extreme poverty, and what am I going to do today? So it's real. I mean, we somebody has to do it, and we are the people.
Wow. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor to get to know you better today, and thank you for the work you've been doing and that you'll continue doing, I know, in various ways. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good to spend this time with you, Pankaj.
I appreciate it.
All the best. Yeah.
Thank you.